Previously on Elysia Rising.
Algernon, what happened? What's going on?
Magpie might notice that, as well as shaking. I'm also, starting to laugh very quietly.
The Raven was here?
Yes.
But why?
I don't know, Frida.
What did he say? The heart...
He called her the Heart Speaker. The Lodge Reticent have taken custody of Erdal Mercy's shroud device, and we need to know where exactly they might keep such a thing.
There's one cobble in particular that I think is going to prove to be a real boon to this investigation. I've been doing a bit of digging, and I think I know where she is. What remains of Elysia isn't just the streets and buildings that we live in. It's a space beneath the streets.
If the Veil is a sphere, we can find its epicenter.
And at the epicenter, you will find the heart.
So how do we get down there?
While Turia is protected by all of those flesh-eating rodents, you and your friends haven't got a chance of getting down there. Not while she controls those rats. As you're kind of going through Nephine's, things, you chance upon a leaflet, a pamphlet. Join us in Memorial Park for a sanctioned communion with the dead.
Okay.
They're doing a seance.
Once the remembrance summons all these memories, from that happening to presumably Nephine and Turia completing their plan, is going to be quite a tight window of opportunity. The five of you will have to start the score with faith that the B team completes their objectives. The question then, I guess, is who the B team is. Who do you trust to do this mission?
Welcome to Elysia, the jewel of the North. On our gilded streets, fortune and fame can be found by anyone.
Hi, I'm Julia, and I'm playing Fiends, a Majani Leech.
Hi, I'm Nate, and I'm playing Tavarien, a hollow hull.
Hi, I'm Errol. I'm playing Lorenzo, a keeper leech.
Hello, I'm JC, and I'm playing Roth, a sprite hound.
Hi, I'm Tim, and I'm playing Capable Tom.
My name is DM Dan. I will be the games master on this adventure.
So come on in and marvel at our wonders. Make sure you see the beautiful views we have to offer, and don't mind the ghosts. They're friendly, really. Grab yourselves a seat and make yourselves welcome in the city of Elysia.
Hello and welcome to Explorers of Elsewhere's Elysia Rising. Hi, I'm DM Dan. These are my five beautiful assistants in crime. We have Julia, we have Errol, we have JC, we have Nate, and Tim?
It's Tim. I'm back, baby.
Tim is back. Unfortunately, Meg has taken ill, but we have grace. We've been graced by the presence of Tim. Some of you may have seen him from Campaign 1 or some of the one-shots that we've run. But thank you for jumping in. Thank you. How are all of you?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you all feeling good? There's something weird happening with this overlay because it looks like everyone's got a new character.
New faces.
Yeah.
What?
What? Yes, we are about to start the final score, and we're going to begin the start of the final score with the B team, the NPCs of the still as of yet unnamed crew. Are kicking things off, and we don't know. These are all rental car characters, really, aren't they? So we don't know what things are going to look like by the time we finish. But I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a good time.
There's only one way to find out.
Yeah. Who would like the keys to the rentals?
Let's go.
We find the five of you on your way to Spire Park, specifically to Union Park, just to the east of the now ruined Ruby Keep. In the last episode, we figured out what Nephine's plans are. We did some gather information on that. So you all know that the Orneshi are hosting a remembrance service of sorts within Union Park, which at Atter's insistence is probably a very bad idea, because thinking too hard about lost relatives and friends creates a manifestation of those spirits, which then proceeds to nom everything in a close radius. Algernon and the others have tasked the five of you to stop this remembrance, and any spirits that are conjured, to stop them getting slurped up by the Elnashi and sent down to Nephine for whatever ritual she's cooking up in the heart of Elysia, which is where the A-team, as we currently speak, are heading. Off the back of the gather informations that you did, I don't believe we figured out a route, like a point of ingress. So between the five of you, how are you thinking that this mission starts? Who's the tip of the spear?
The most capable of us, surely.
Yes, the most capable.
I mean, there is one
Wow,
amongst your rank who is very, very capable. Perhaps I should say, the gathered group that strides towards Union Park is the tall and dashing keeper Lorenzo, the stoic but somewhat smaller figure of Roth, a positively gleeful and happy and clapping Fiends, the unmistakable clanking form of Tavarien, and a Lorivar man who has joined at the 11th hour. In actual fact, what I'm going to do is just spin over to this newcomer. Who is this newcomer? What do they look like? Why are they here?
I think he's probably asking himself that as well. He's here because that's what Mostovan has told him to do. This is the young, capable Tom, or maybe the old, capable Tom. It's not really clear. But the important thing about him is that if you need something done, he'll do it. Will he do it well? Who knows? But he'll get it done. And this is something that needs doing. And importantly, he's fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad he's fine.
So, yes, capable Tom, at Musto's insistence, introduced to Algernon and Co. A short while ago. This was, perhaps capable Tom has been the key to Musto's success throughout the city, because heavens knows it wasn't Musto that was the key to Musto's rise to power, was it? So let's have a look. So let's have a quick look at the routes of ingress. Are the four of you ceding to capable Tom's capable plans for the engagement role?
Do you think Roth would stand for that, JC?
Roth has been informed that Tom is the most capable criminal in the whole of Mastovan's empire.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Okay, well, to paint you a scene, as you approach, there is a worrying number of people gathered in Union Park. So you know that if the Onashi's plan goes off kind of without a hitch, the devastation that will be unleashed on Spire Park and the citizens here will be, quite frankly, catastrophic. And whatever fallout there may be in the aftermath, like the city is on such a tipping point that it might well and truly push it over the edge. You can see that there are a number of kind of Majani stood on raised platforms. Tavarien, you recognise it as the platform that you were stood on when you were giving your speech only a few weeks ago, before you were interred into this kind of metal suit. But yeah, there only seems to be a couple of Majani kind of loitering around, and you can see this, as you approach, you can see and smell this very heavily scented, kind of smoky censer smoke, kind of wafting out of censer burners, which you all know is quite on point for the Orneshi, but it's heavy enough that it largely kind of hugs the ground and kind of drifts out sort of like in all directions. So, Capable Tim, as you see these gathered crowds and you see the Ilneshi Majani kind of beginning the event, because that's what it's kind of touted as, you have a number of options.
Mhm.
Are you assaulting, decepting, stealthing, arcaning, or socialing?
Contact is for
And-
cowards.
And this influences, as I say, this is like your plan for that very first point of contact, and then everything spins out from there.
Well, I mean, given that it's a public event, as far as I'm aware,
Uh-huh.
I suppose let's just throw on some disguises, shall we, chaps?
Okay, so we're taking a stealth assault. A stealth approach, sorry, not stealth assault. Where is everyone placed as Capable Tom leads you all into the start of the score? So to paint you the picture, you're in the park. To your right, like you're in the shadow of the ruined Ruby Keep. In front of you, past the park, is the canal that wraps around Spire Park. Some way off, a little way off behind you are the buildings that make up Spire Park proper. So it's a relatively open space for now. But yeah, where's everyone plonked? Starting with Capable Tom. So are you presumably in the crowd with a disguise on?
Yes, I think so. I'm going to be trying to edge my way towards wherever it looks like backstage preparations are being done.
Sure, okay. So in which case, Fiends, are you joining Capable Tom? Are you kind of going into the crowd, main crowd proper?
So did you say there is a backstage, as a stage with like a cordoned off area or something? Sorry, I didn't fully
So there's a
understand
large
what you
gathered
said.
group of civilians.
Yeah.
There's a bandstand style stand that Tavarien was once stood on giving her speech a while ago. So for all intents and purposes, backstage is quite simply the area behind that, away from the crowd.
I would probably want to be more or less on the periphery of the crowd, definitely. I wouldn't want to be in the middle of them.
Okay.
So yeah, probably with Capable Tom then.
Okay, so you're with Capable Tom. Where's Lorenzo?
Okay, so there's like an area which is like stage-like, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so I think Lorenzo is if there's like public crowds that are sort of near where the entranceway to, or like the barrier, if there are guards like guarding backstage, quote unquote, then he wants to have that in eye shot, but be with like some of the locals as well. And he's sort of like got his arms crossed and he's kind of tapping his foot and he's making a bit of a show of like this, and he's kind of muttering under his breath, this is unscientific, and I'm here to prove that this is not going to work. And he's just kind of he's doing a bit, I suppose.
So he's being a negative Nelly in the crowds.
He's being Lorenzo in the crowds, but within like a few, like a hop, skip, and a jump of like stage/backstage.
Okay, fine. Where's Rolf?
I think if there's some sort of vantage point, and I remember there is because I was in a similar situation right at the beginning.
I think there are rooftops within sight. Yeah.
Roth, I think, would like to climb up. He's got this pair of sticky gloves that he uses to handle eels. And I'm going to climb up to a vantage point and have a look. I have a telescope, which I will be using to survey the square.
Amazing. And where is Tavarien?
Little bit of a flashback.
Yes.
Tavarien is she's gonna tap capable Tom on the shoulder. And
hello.
oh, I'm sorry, dear. I didn't mean to alarm you. A grand plan, I do believe, but I don't think this is gonna be covered up so easily in a disguise.
There will be stalls, will there not?
Stalls?
Yes, people hawking their wares and so forth. So we'll pop you in a cart, put a cover over you, and just simply wheel you in, eh?
Yes, I do believe that would be a grand idea. So yes, I am in a cart. Covered in a...
So, hang on. Are the disguises actually you're the cart, like traders, and you're just...
I think so, yeah. I think I have a large fake moustache on, and I'm selling bread.
Oh, I mean, foodstuffs in Elysia is very limited. The
Oh,
options are
not
mushrooms,
bread.
eels, or rats that haven't eaten you first.
I'm selling unusual-looking rocks.
Okay. Freshly procured from the burnt-down cathedral over in Abbotsgate, clearly. Okay, so you've got your cart of rocks.
Memory stone?
Okay, so this is actually the disguise. Another quick pass round, starting with Fiends. What weight loadout are you going for?
I think I was tempted to go heavy because I feel like Fiends would carry a lot of explosives on her. But I also don't want to draw too much attention, so should we go normal?
Okay, so you're going normal.
Yeah.
What loadout for Lorenzo?
I feel normal as well. I feel like a normal loadout. I don't feel normal generally. Normal loadout, please.
So bear in mind, as a keeper, your normal loadout can be like one higher than everyone else's. Roth, what's he going with?
Roth's going heavy.
Whoa, Roth's going heavy. And Tavarien?
Gonna go medium, I think.
Sure. I mean, sure you don't want to go heavy? I mean, she's about as conspicuous as she can get.
Actually, yeah, heavy.
Go
We might
heavy.
Okay, so heavy, and last but not least, capable Tom. What loadout are you going for?
Light, please.
Light loadout. Okay. When it all goes wrong, you'll be the fastest away from the scene of the crime.
That's how I've survived this long.
Okay, so we will start the action roll. Let's have a think about this.
Can I revise my position? Because
Yes.
now that I know capable Tom is role-playing with Tavarien, maybe I'm with Lorenzo in the crowd then.
Okay.
Trying
Sure.
to look as if I'm not totally strapped with a bandolier of bombs under my coat.
So, the way that this works, Tim, is that we start with a single dice for the engagement roll, and this tells us how well things are going right at the start. So, is the operation particularly bold or daring? You know what? It's a finale. I'm going to say it is. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? I'm going to say, there's a part of me that I don't think it's where are they. Is it a vulnerability?
Oh man, I didn't know I needed a good plan.
Well, no, I'm just trying to think because they're trying to get as many people in as they can. I'm going to say it kind of evens out, so they're not they're not particularly expecting people not to turn up, but perhaps they notice that someone's trying to hawk memory stones at a remembrance. Where they want to make sure all focus is on them, so that will even out, so we're still on 2. Friends or contacts to provide aid or insight. Not at this moment. The target is a target of a lower tier. No, the Elysia are the same tier as you now. Level 3. Are there any district modifiers? I'm going to say there's no district modifiers, but because the city is a tinderbox ready to ignite, I'm going to say that is a precarious position to be in. So we're back down to a single dice.
Why do you hate us so?
Because it's fun. So, Tim, on the left-hand side of the screen, there is 2 dice at the bottom of your list of icons. If you open that up, you want to enter in a 1 dice and click engagement, and then roll that bone.
Cool.
Singular. Hey! Not bad.
Perfectly
5.
capable. So it is a mixed result. You start in a risky position. So Tavarien and Tom, you trundle in around the edge of this kind of gathered crowd that, their numbers are good. It looks like 50, 60 people, like it's a surprisingly large cohort. Fiends and Lorenzo, you can see this kind of cart being pulled along by capable Tom, who's sweating profusely. And as the 2 of you glance up, you can just about see for a moment a glimmer from the lens of the telescope of Roth up on the rooftops to the south of the park. And capable Tom, as you kind of wheel in, you're able to get sort of like you're coming round the side of this group towards kind of becoming level with the stage and the area behind it, when a very small, like youngish looking goblin boy walks up to you, and he adjusts his hat for a moment, and "Here, you!" he says as he stands in front of you. "What's a memory stone?"
You can rub it with your thumb, and it will help you to bring back lovely memories of people you've lost.
And this goblin frowns and then turns to a dark-skinned Lorivar man a little way back and, "Here, Alejandro! Have you ever heard of a memory stone?"
Oh no.
And this rather attractive Lorivar man steps forward alongside a red-haired Lorivar woman, and he looks down at the goblin, then looks to you, Tom, and I can't say I have. Is this a new development?
Yes. Came up with it myself over many years.
And this Lorivar man, Alejandro, you believe his name to be, just nods. Were you summoned here by the Majani, by the Oneshi? He says, gesturing to the. There's a couple of figures stood on the stage, and one of them you notice is kind of stepping forward and begins to sort of like clear her throat. Looks like she's about to start.
Can't blame a man for wanting to make a penny or two.
Well, he's not wrong there, Alejandro. He's not wrong there, says the goblin. The Lorivar woman leans in and whispers something into Alejandro's ear, and Alejandro sort of like listens for a moment, nods, and if you don't mind holding here for a moment, I'll see if we can set you up. If you're able to set up a vending shops, anything to help with people remembering their lost ones would be greatly appreciated, he says. Let me just get that double checked first. And the trio peel away and begin sort of like walking over towards the Majani. What do you all collectively do off the back of this?
I mean, I think we're probably... Are we fine? Is this fine?
Roth is Alejandro through the crowd with his telescope, and he goes,
You've spied Alejandro. So are you purely just on sort of like observation duty? Have you got like the gossipers?
Do we want to have it? I suppose that means taking it away from Algernon.
The main crew doesn't have it. Yeah. This is the problem, isn't it?
Or is Roth flying purely as a lone wolf?
Roth knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I think I would like to talk to my other players, so I think we should have it, maybe.
Fair enough.
Sure. Okay. So, so Roth, you're wearing one of the gossiper's earrings. Who's got the other?
Capable Tom, surely.
I guess it makes sense if I'm leading it up. Yeah.
Okay. So, Capable Tom, you earlier on you were gifted with this small pearl-like earring. So Algernon, the Asavar kind of leader of the crew, for as you understand it, and your new boss, you're told, handed one of these earrings to Roth and one of these earrings to you. You're instructed to wear it, and you notice that whenever Roth speaks, you can hear him as if Roth is stood next to you, and you then in turn find out when you speak, Roth can hear you back. So fundamentally they are like walkie-talkies, but only for you, very, very specifically. Yes, so as you ask, is this fine, Roth? Is this fine?
How are we looking, Roth?
You hear Roth humming a little tune to himself as he looks through the spyglass.
Roth!
All fine from up here. Some old friends of ours.
Yes, you watch as Alejandro and the crew and his crew kind of wander behind the stage, where there's a couple of the Ilnashi kind of gathered around and spying the ones that they're talking to. Whereas the Majani that are on the stage are clearly the ones that they're the soothsayers. They're the ones that are speaking to the crowds, but the ones behind the stage certainly look at distinctly more thuggish and bouncer-like, if you will. In fact, you think you've seen one of them as a bouncer at the Gold Pot once upon a time. But yeah, you notice this Lorivar man speaking to one of the Majani and sort of like gesturing towards Tom and Tavarien in a cart. They speak for a while, and then you notice that the two of them are like Alejandro and co and one of the Majani are beginning to walk back over to Capable Tom. Fiends and Lorenzo, you're like a head taller than the rest of the crowd. Yeah, you probably would also have seen this trio approach Tom, speak with him, walk back. You can see that the Majani lady at the centre of the stage, she lifts her hands and sort of like is beginning to get the attention of the gathered crowds, and you hear her shouting, "Thank you for coming! Thank you for coming!" she says as she gestures a little bit more kind of widely to get more attention. Gather forward, come forward, we will begin momentarily, she says as she waves her hands towards the stage, and you watch as the crowd start to slowly begin to creep past you and kind of bunch together a bit more.
Can I call a flashback,
Yes.
please? I would like Fiends to have found
the whole area to blow.
Well, not the whole area, but like earlier, I feel as if she probably would have gone to the stage area and just set up a few very small explosives on like the prop legs of it, just so that if needed, we could collapse the stage. Not actually kill anybody, not blow it up fully, but make the stage collapse if we wanted to disrupt the speech or something.
Okay.
Because I'm struggling to see what my place is here if I'm not allowed to simply blow up the whole place, because that would get the job done.
You
Right?
understand Atta's problem now.
Yes, I 100% do. So I feel
Okay.
as if I would have done something. What does it cost to call a flashback like that in terms of stress?
So I'm going to say, because this was all being set up relatively, quickly by the Ilnashi, and the Ilnashi are all over this. It's somewhat easier because you yourself are a Majani, so you were perhaps
I
a
could
little
have
bit more
just sort
able
of snuck in. Yeah.
and just not looked anyone in the eye and just pretended to be someone
Yeah.
else's second cousin.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I will say that it's still a 2 stress.
I was about to say, naff off.
It was 2 stress to get the
Okay, that's fine.
explosive set up.
I'll take
And
stress.
that will now allow you to fundamentally press the button and roll a wreck for all extents.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so you.
Just give me the signal, people. Just
Okay.
give me the signal.
So Lorenzo, I can only imagine that Fiends is starting to bounce slightly, just on the balls of her heels.
Is it time yet? Is it time yet?
I mean,
Do you reckon it's time yet? She's about to start talking. Must be time.
I feel like Lorenzo is ignoring Fiends. I'm channeling Lorenzo's energy. He's ignoring Fiends and he's talking in his own manner. He's pushed himself to the front of the crowd because he's somewhat invested in the scientific, medical, nonsense of it all, and he really wants to disprove it. So his thing is he wants to try and mess with the whole event, essentially, from that perspective. So he's right at the front, and he's kind of Fiends, just be quiet. Let's see what they have to say, and we'll maybe you'll get to do something. But let's.
Brilliant. Yeah.
I mean, it seems like such nonsense. And it's just projecting Lorenzo-ness.
Sure. Her hands raised high, the Ilnashi soothsayer on the stage begins. For over 2 years, we have been lost in the void. While most of us have endured, there are many we have lost along the way. We can honor them still, even in death. And we have found that through fervent thought, we can remember them better. And as she says that, you notice the sensor burners that are kind of placed around, around the stage, are sort of scattered throughout the crowd. They all, they look like large golden orbs with sort of circular indents in them. But you notice as members of the crowd, who you kind of realize probably aren't members of the crowd, they lean down and slide the top halves of these orbs round, and so the circular indents are now holes, and this thick pink smoke begins to waft out in place of the scented kind of mist that was originally there. And as this smoke wafts out, and it's a lot lighter, so it's kind of drifting up a bit, you hear kind of gasps and sounds of surprise from the crowd as they are kind of washed over by this pink smoke. And Lorenzo, you pause and look at it for a little bit, and you notice that the smoke is almost glittery in a way, as the purple light from overhead kind of refracts through it. And this Majani lady, breathe deep the fumes. Your memories will be much more vivid for it, she says. As this happens, Roth, you've seen that there's a smoke, pink smoke, starting to drift out through the crowds. You can see that. Would you know who this Laravar man, this Laravar woman, and this goblin are that have stopped Tom? Do we imagine Atta's told Roth?
Yeah, I think Roth knows who they are and has maybe come into contact with at least Alejandro.
Sure. In which case, yes, you've absolutely recognised this man as Alejandro, Atta's, the leader of Atta's old crew. Alejandro and co, along with this kind of Majani bouncer, this Oneji bouncer, arrive back at the cart with Tavarien and Capable Tom. And Tom, as they approach, this Majani steps forward and sort of looks you up and down, and he's bedecked with this gold jewellery. His clothes are fine and well fitted with this kind of golden embroidery. He's got, you can't help but fixate a little bit on the ludicrously large gold nose ring that he's got, the hoop of which extends down past his chin. I'm told that you want to sell some of your wares, he says.
That's right, sir. Just some memory stones.
He looks to you. Show me.
So presumably I've got like a couple of buckets of rocks that are just the nicest ones that we could find in the limited time we had available.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll just...
Here you are, sir. Finest memory stones.
Okay. As you hand over this rock, I'm going to ask for some sort of roll. I mean, this is sounding a bit swayy, but you can absolutely tell me if you're trying something else instead.
I think probably sway. Yeah, I just want to give the appearance that, I mean, at worst, I'm just a slightly sketchy merchant.
Would you like some help, Tim?
Huh?
Would you like some help?
I mean, if you've got a way of doing that, but...
So basically we can either greater the effect or we can increase your dice, so we can give you an extra dice if I take not even stress now, I take drain.
How would you help me?
Maybe I helped you pick some really nice stones.
Maybe if you've got a little ghost magic in them, that might help.
Yeah, I've been able to do something. I put glitter on them, or something along those lines. You put them in the cart, and then I rubbed like glitter on them to make them extra nice.
I think save your drain, to be honest.
You sure?
Yeah, we'll be alright.
Alright.
You can also, so you're at risky standard, you can also increase the risk up to desperate in exchange for increasing the payoff as well. So you can, for free, go from risky standard to desperate great, and that's effectively you like going for broke and really...
Oh yeah, for sure, let's push it.
Oh my god.
Okay, so we're starting off with a risky greater.
I have got a lot of drain. I can help. I can still help.
Nah, we're good.
Alright.
Oh my gosh.
Do you not think me capable?
So, if you're starting with
You'll feel the magic.
Varian, you hear the most hammy sales pitch voice coming out of Capable Tom as he tries to hawk a rock to the Ilnashi.
Oh God.
So, because you are a daredevil, Capable Tom, you get +1 dice when you make desperate actions.
Hooray!
So, if you click on the word sway on your character sheet, and then it's a +1 dice because
+1
of
desperate
your
great, yeah.
Desperate, and then desperate great. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh
no.
Oh no.
It's alright. I'm capable. I can re-roll the dice.
He's capable. So tell you what we can do. If you click on sway again, but then this time just no extra dice. Desperate great, and then it will just roll that out.
No.
Oh no!
Not capable enough.
Okay.
I regret my choices.
So, Tavarien, you hear, you're listening to this this sales pitch, and Roth, you watch as this Majani takes this. It's literally a rock with like some glitteriness on it, and then there's a moment where he just slowly looks up to Capable Tom, and drops the rock on the ground. And I'm going to say you'll lose this opportunity as the Majani discards this rock to the ground, and I appreciate a good hustle, but this is borderline insulting. Begone, he says as he kind of turns you away quite loudly and publicly. So you can resist if you would like. So in terms of the resist, this will be a resolve resist because it's off the. It's a social thing.
Yeah.
But if you want to resist, then he might. So he'll send you away, but he won't completely banish you from the area. He just kind of stops you from hogging your wares, and he'll keep an eye on you instead.
I'll try and resist then.
Okay. So on your character sheet, if you roll a resolve,
he'll beat me if I don't stay.
So if you roll me a resolve, and because of your daredevil, we're gonna have to do a -1 modifier to this roll.
Oh yeah.
Off the back of your daredevil.
Yep. Sweet. All right. Oh, thank Christ. Okay.
So you suffer 1 stress, and as he begone, he says, this Majani man says, when you inform him, but the master will beat me, and he looks into your deep set, like deep pitted eyes. The Majani goes to say something, and then he turns around as he's called by one of the other Ilnashi, and then the Majani kind of steps away, instructs the 3 others, the 2 Lorivar and the Goblin, to kind of keep an eye on you, and then he leaves. So yeah, you've not been thrown out, but you are now under surveillance, if you will. Okay. So, Roth, you've seen all of this. Who wants to jump in as Operation Capable Tom? His Operation Glittery Rocks has hit the rocks.
Now, should I do it now? Right now? They're giving Tom a hard time.
While I'm just there, and I'm like, boy, I'm really blowing this.
Tom.
This is really blown up in my face.
Tom, you hear Roth's voice in your ear call your name.
Oh. Hello.
Give the earring to Alejandro.
Ooh.
What's an Alejandro?
That beautiful man.
Oh, the beautiful...
I'm an Alejandro, says the Lorivar in front of you. What? How did you know my name?
Lucky guess.
Give him the pearl earring.
Just give him the earring.
Alejandro takes it and thank you. And he doesn't seem to know quite what to do with it. Are you gesturing for him to put it on, presumably?
Yeah.
Okay. Alejandro, well, I don't really think it suits, as he kind of takes out the earring he's already got in, but as he kind of puts it in and it kind of dangles down and bobs a little bit, the little goblin, yeah, suits you. He chuckles like a little gremlin, and Alejandro sort of as he feels the weight of it on his ear, like his eyebrows raise, and he thinks, he kind of swishes it around a little bit. Oh, actually.
Belrel, you old bastard.
And
you handsome devil.
And he immediately freezes as he hears a voice he has not heard from for a long time. And he looks around frantically, and he looks to you, Tom. But what's happening? What both?
Stay calm. I didn't think I'd see your pretty face again.
What why can I what are you invisible? Why can I hear you?
Don't worry about that. Listen, my friend the rock salesman needs to get into this event, and you're going to help us, okay?
Well, I'm sure there's a very good reason, but I need you to understand that I have been explicitly asked by some of the Oneshi that what ability are you rolling on him?
I have a very good reason for you right here. I'm looking at your sweet cheeks through the scope of my high-powered hunting rifle. Of course, I can always switch my focus to Grubbins or Lucille.
Tom, you watch as the colour drains from the man in front of you, drains from his face, and as he looks around, and then Alejandro finally sort of like turns and begins scanning the rooftops of the buildings. You notice, Roth, that he looks up into the ruins of the keep and then quickly looks away towards the buildings where you are. And then he spies you, and have you got...
Yeah, we flashed back to a few seconds ago. As soon as that pink smoke started coming out, Roth gets his hunting rifle out from a bag, gives a little kiss, and attaches the spyglass to it.
Okay. Yes, and you amp up the pressure to make the bolt fly.
Just to jump in, while he's scanning the rooftops, can I take that opportunity to just slip into the crowd? Quietly step away from the scene.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so the three of them, I guess, will be somewhat distracted. Okay. Okay. So first things first, we'll get Roth's roll done. So Roth, what are you? Are you commanding? Presumably. You're commanding. Okay. Roll me a command. I'm gonna say I'm gonna start you on a risky greater simply because Alejandro is not particularly jazzed about being held at sniper harpoon point. And Devil's Bargain, regardless of what happens, someone in the crowd notices you. Trained with a weapon.
Okay, I'll take it.
Okay. So, what are we looking like?
Is that another +1 dice to make it 2?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Yep.
Risky great.
Risky great. Okay, you do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer harm, a complication occurs. You have reduced effect. You end up in a desperate position. You hear through the Gospel's earring, Roth. Now, there's no need for any. He's not raising his hands. There's no need for any brash action here, Roth. We've always been on somewhat good terms. As all attention is kind of trained on your spot, Roth, from the three of them. Tom, by all means, roll me. If you're trying to sneak away, I'm guessing that's a prowl.
Say?
I'm going to call this I'm going to start you on a risky lesser because you're being watched. So for free, you can switch it up to a desperate standard. You can push yourself for an extra dice or an extra result, effect level.
I think I'm alright with just risky limited, to be honest. I think that's fine.
Okay. In which case, so no extra dice. Do you want to switch it for free to desperate standard?
I guess it doesn't really hurt, does it? Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
So this is a 2 dice base desperate standard prowl.
1 in for being my daredevil self. Good God,
no.
Tom.
Oh no! You jinxed it by calling him capable Tom.
Yeah, we need to...
I'm so incapable.
Risky Tom.
Ring up Musto, we need
hang
Tom.
on. Can I...
We've got to reroll. I can
reroll.
So if you re-click prowl, but this time do -1, desperate standard, it'll just roll the 1 dice.
For God's sake. Come on, Tom.
Yay! He is capable.
He's capable all
So-
along.
Roth, from your rooftop, you've got your sights aimed at Alejandro, and then an eyebrow raises over the end of the scope as you just see Tom sort of like look around at the like everyone's attention's turned away, and he just bolts like greased lightning into the crowd, leaving Tavarien in the cart. Off the back, so Capable Tom has made it into the crowd. Roth, you've got the person at gunpoint. I haven't rolled out your complication because as this, you notice this smoke is kind of getting thicker and thicker amongst the crowds, and you open your other eye for a moment to get a bit more peripheral vision, and you notice small motes of like bluish whitish light beginning to materialize above the crowd. And Lorenzo, you're stood in the middle, you're able to get enough of the waft to realize, oh, this is trance powder.
Can I want to try and do a flashback. It's quite complicated, so can you bear with me and we'll see where it goes.
Okay.
Okay. Can we flash back to like the B team meeting each other and kind of trying to figure out how they're preparing this? And I think in amongst all of the various, I want to blow something up. How about we sell magic rocks? Let's just make sure everybody's okay, from Tavarien and Roth just like polishing a gun in the corner. I think Lorenzo's kind of just tapping their fingers and they kind of throw their hands up at one point and go, right, well, they're going to make a spectacle of it. How about we make even more of a spectacle? So perhaps I can distill an amount of a certain substance that I find particularly useful, and I've noticed that they're preparing these sensors to disperse a vapor-like substance, so perhaps we can, ahead of time, spike that vapor substance, maybe just so that it doesn't happen immediately, but maybe a little bit later.
A delayed
The vapor.
reaction.
And perhaps one of us, maybe you, Capable Tom, if you just kind of glittering some rocks, if you come up on stage with me, and what we'll try and do is we'll try and do a performance of this memory, this horrible idea of coming up with memories and remembering your loved ones. And at that point, what we'll do is we'll show the dire consequences that can happen when you remember your loved ones and disperse the paralysis powder throughout the sensors. How about that, everyone?
So you're swapping the trance powder. No, wait. So the sensor burners are now a concoction of trance powder, delayed onset paralysis powder.
Yeah, so I imagine that the flashback might require like a tinker roll to see if Lorenzo can manufacture a certain amount of paralysis potion, paralysis poison, and then maybe some kind of way of sneaking it in. But then before it kind of disperses, I want to try and get on stage with perhaps Capable Tom, if he is indeed willing to be an actor, and kind of make this is what happens when you try and remember your loved ones. It's a dangerous thing to do so, and then sort of have it timed where everybody suddenly goes into paralysis.
I've done a little acting in my time.
Okay.
Do you happen to have some antidote for when we are all showered in paralyzing powder?
It's temporary. You won't be negatively affected. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm a little concerned I might be negative affected, Lorenzo.
You'll be quite fine in 2 hours to 3 days.
Tavarian's going to speak up. I mean, that's a lovely plan, dear. may I suggest something else?
Sure. How much paralysis is in your plan?
Well, I mean, the paralysis might help for those who are less likely to cooperate, let's say. But I believe that the people of Elysia need to know. They need to know what's happening to them. They need to know what the Elysia are planning. Obviously not all of what's happening with what we plan to do with the Heart of Elysia. They don't need to know about that, because then maybe that will, it will ruin the plan for the rest of our team. But the people of Elysia need to know. They need to know what these are. They need to know the dangers. And they've been kept in the dark for way too long. Maybe the dance sounds nice. Don't get me wrong. I do like a good dance, but maybe it's just time we let them know.
Yes, perhaps we, if we can get onto the stage, we can tell them what's happening. And with the trance powder, we need a replacement. Have a lot of glitter.
Okay. So.
And a little bit of paralysis.
So
It'll make you happy.
Around to the paralysis.
Are we? I mean, you wonder if perhaps the paralysis, mixing the paralysis with the trance powder, might begin to sort of like the effects might cancel each other out, whereas one heightens and one sluggens. So, I mean, I suppose there's that idea. But yeah, whose flashback are we going with right now? Because it sounds like in the flashback
it's a mixed flashback. I feel like Lorenzo would kind of eventually, after much like cajoling, kind of go, okay, then perhaps the paralysis powder can merely like stave off the effects of any kind of effect that the Elysia are planning to support the spirit. So I think Lorenzo's flashback is concocting so we have more time.
Okay.
That we know that it's trance powder. It's maybe not taking as much of effect. So
okay. So if Lorenzo is doing that, I will charge him also like 2 stress, similar to Fiends, to sort that out. And to Variem, we've kind of got an idea that there'll be like a public warning. So back in the present, Lorenzo and Fiends, you can see the smoke is kind of wafting over the crowd. Especially you, Lorenzo, you realize that it's actually Lorenzo. Roll me a tinker.
Okay.
To see how the concoction goes down. I'm going to start you on a risky standard.
Okay, I'm gonna you always have to remind pushing self is 2, right?
Yes.
2 stress. Okay, cool. Let's do a little push. We're gonna get one more dice because Wreck is Tinker's 3. Let's not do an extra dice. Let's try for a greater effect. Go, Lorenzo, go. Oh, it's partial success.
It's a partial. Okay. So you do it, but there's a consequence. Okay. So it does work. It does have the effect you expected it to. The trance powder is offset by the paralysis, so people are feeling a little bit kind of woozy, but they're not ascending into those euphoric highs, like you've seen Cavern do just when he thinks no one's looking. But you notice as this kind of sense of smoke, this pink sense of smoke is wafting out, the Majani the Elysia on the stage are looking around and they're noticing that something is wrong. And because presumably they weren't expecting the smoke to be billowing out to be pink. I'm going to switch you all into a desperate position as the soothsayer on the stage, like as the crowd as the smoke wafts over them, she raises her hands like aloft, and the smoke will conjure all sorts of images into your mind, and you must remember to focus exclusively on your loved ones, regardless of everything you see. You may even see apparitions you had not thought of emerging, but blot them out and focus just on yours. And fiends, you look around and you see these motes of light are getting bigger and bigger. But you also notice that motes of light are appearing above the Ilnashi, kind of dotted around the stage. And they have their eyes closed as these spirits begin to manifest above their heads. You hear ripples of panic through the crowd as these memories are conjured seemingly from the Ilnashi themselves. But as these creatures like appear before, like they float for a moment in kind of confusion, but before they do anything, you notice that the Ilnashi that are seemingly summoning these memory ghosts, there's a series of intricate hand symbols, and then they look as if they've just grabbed onto some invisible chains holding onto these spirits. And as these ghosts begin to kind of float over the crowd, and you can hear people shouting and screaming in panic, the soothsayer is, focus your mind, she says, as the motes begin to get brighter and brighter.
I would like to do a flashback, please. If
you would like to do a flashback, yes?
Unless there was something very keen you were to do.
Well, so it looks like the Ilnashi themselves are summoning spirits and trying to escalate and accelerate the process of thinking real hard about dead ones.
Okay. I would like to do a flashback, and
yes.
I would like to talk to Atta.
Okay.
What's up, Tabarian?
My dear, just the person I need to speak with. You know how we amplified my voice at the execution? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Can we do that again, but much bigger?
Bigger? I mean, I suppose if we had the components needed to amplify, yeah, I imagine. Do I roll a tinker for Atta? Shall I?
No, it's fine. If that's a plan, yeah, Atta can kind of reconnect you up to the voice box.
Cool.
So in which case, yeah, back in the present Tavarian, you can hear people screaming and panicking. It's like you've got this tarp over your head, so you're not entirely sure what it is that's happening, but it sounds like something is going on.
Okay. I think from the screaming, she is gonna burst out from the. She knows that shit's going down now. She's gonna burst out from the cart, and she's gonna shout out. She is shouting out, "People of Elysia, please listen to me. Do not listen to those on the stage. They are getting you to produce memories of your fallen loved ones, memories of those you miss. But they're lethal. The ghosts outside the veil, they are not ghosts, they are memories. They are..." She's going to go on, sorry.
Okay. Which stat are you using? That sounds quite swaggy.
I feel like that's more of a command.
Oh, if you're commanding them?
Yeah, I want to command them not to stop thinking.
Okay.
Stop thinking about your loved ones.
Stop thinking about them.
I will start you on, because you've used the voice amplification, I'll use that to kind of counter out the sounds of the panic screaming and the sides of the crowd and whatnot. I'm going to start you on a desperate standard.
Desperate standard. Okay. I'm going to push myself.
Wee.
Okay. Regardless of what happens, the Ilnashi immediately retaliate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to boost it up to a desperate great with that devil's bargain. I'm going to then do an extra dice for to drain.
Okay. Okay.
Push myself.
Roll them bones.
Oh, 5. Not bad. Not bad.
Partial success. Okay. So Tavarien Roth. Poor Roth, just on his rooftop, watching this all suddenly go nuts. So you've just watched Capable Tom just book it into the crowd, presumably at the behest of Lorenzo's plan to sort things out with the sensor burners and whatnot. The tarp has just kind of flown off, and Tavarien has stood bolt upright, and then "People of Elysia!" she shouts out with this sonorous, booming voice amplified through the suit. There are ghosts memory ghosts appearing over the crowd. People are starting to panic. From where you're sat, you also notice that as people are trying to leave, there are Majani, like Ilnashi, on the edges of the crowds, effectively turning them back and pushing them back into the throng just to keep the crowd contained. And you're watching all this. And so you do it. So Tavarien, you manage to grab the attention of the crowd, but not all of them. So, some people are looking over, and Tom, Fiends, Lorenzo, through the crowd, you can hear it's. I think that's Tavarien. Who's that? Oh, it's a monster. And you can see people kind of looking over. The motes of light above their heads are beginning to fizzle away as they stop kind of really thinking about their lost ones as they're distracted by Tavarien. And Tavarien, as you give this long speech and you try to go to explain what the nature of the memory ghost that they're conjuring is, this is all a plan. They're simply just... And then Tavarien freezes. And Roth, as you peer and wonder what's happening, you see Tavarien's hands, it looks like for a moment she starts to thrash a little bit, as if she's struggling, as if she's being held.
Oh.
And Tavarien, you feel this force, this external force, kind of seemingly envelop you, and you feel as if someone's trying to control the suit instead of you. Wonder if that someone's trying to interact, control you as a spirit. Yes, Julia.
Can I do my thing now?
To blow things up?
Yeah. I mean, is Tavarien quite close to the stage?
I suppose Tavarien is in a cart.
Yeah.
I suppose, she would be near the edge of the crowd.
Right?
Yeah,
I'm not murdering anyone right now.
No.
I'm just collapsing the stage.
Okay.
And I'm using my ghost ward ability because the mini bombs I'm using to collapse the stage are laced with arcane substances which are anathema to spirits.
Okay.
So I go ping on my button, my remote detonator, and then the stage just
and
breaks.
As you do that, I just finish shouldering my way through the crowd, and I'm like, now it'd be great.
Damn it!
Roll me a tinker.
Is that a tinker? Yeah, not a wreck.
So,
a
wreck.
Either's alright with me. It's fine.
So we'll start you on a desperate standard.
Desperate standard. Okay. Can I push myself, please?
You absolutely can.
Right. Okay.
And regardless of what happens, you've discovered that you are more susceptible to this smoky concoction than Lorenzo had bargained for.
to that, I say, get wrecked.
Yay!
Okay. So, right, you watch as like Tavarian is kind of frozen in space, and then it looks like she's straining and struggling against someone, and you worry that someone's trying to control her using arcane methods. You can also see that Fiends has noticed this. Fiends, you see this through the crowd as Tavarian suddenly just stops her big speech, and then realizing that this is it, as you activate the activation rune, there's 4 little like quite small little explosives.
Diddy explosives that just take out the stage. Yeah.
Okay.
From under them.
You see, they explode just right, and you watch as the 3 Elysia on the stage at the front of the crowd suddenly drop as their floor underneath them kind of falls away, and as they do, and they hit the dirt and spill out into the crowd. The spirits that they were kind of wrangling suddenly look as if they've been released, and then they start looking around at the crowd. As they go down and go to kind of wrap their wispy fingers around the necks of the Majani, they then start to... Their shoulders come up as if... and their hands come to their ears, and with this unearthly screech, the 2 spirits then kind of blow away from the stage, as the arcane after effects of your explosions wards that area against spirits.
Oh no! It's the evil memories! She was right! Tavarian was right!
I would like to use this opportunity to scan the skyline where Alejandro was looking. When I mentioned that there was a gun trained on him, he seemed to be looking up into the keep or another building. I want to see if there's another person on the rooftops.
Okay, if you're scanning the horizon, that sounds like
hunting.
A hunting.
Nice.
Not a survey.
Hunting or survey. I'm happy with either. I don't think we've ever had a proper hunt roll though, so let's go.
That would be fun, wouldn't it?
Just tracking. So yeah, I will start this again. Everything's on everything's a bit desperate right now because a lot has happened in a very short space of time. So we'll start you on a desperate standard. I can think up a devil's bargain if you would like it, but if you don't, I don't have to think about it.
Let's just go with desperate standard for now, I think, with my 3 pips.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
5.
Yeah.
You do it, but there's a consequence. So you scan where Alejandro was looking, and he was looking specifically up into the ruins of the keep, of the Ruby Keep, and you notice through a part of the wall that is shattered away. There's a chunk of wall and window that's only still in place because it's kind of entwined by the charred vines that are propping the what's left of the keep up. But you spot a somewhat hunched over figure that's quite slight in build, with kind of long white, black, purple flowing robes with a lot of gold ornamentation, a hood that comes up over her head and kind of down to her forehead, and she seems to be almost leaning over the edge of the keep, precipice, looking down into Union Park. You recognize this lady to be Lady Null.
Lady Null.
And as you spy the lead, the matriarch of the Elysia family, you can see her mouth is incanting something, and her hands are it looks as if she's entwining, she's creating some sort of intricate string pattern between her fingers, and you recognize that she is looking directly at Tavarian. Tavarien begins to like lift up off the cart and begin floating in the air. As you notice that, off the back of an earlier Devil's Bargain, a window of the rooftop that you're on opens, and an Ilnashi pokes their head out and, there you are, he says. And this is the Ilnashi that noticed you earlier and has moved up to intercept you.
Okay.
Amazing.
So, Rolf, what do you do?
So I have found Lady Null in my sights, and I'm about to potentially pull the trigger and prevent her from casting this spell onto Varien. And I hear the window open behind me, and I keep my long-distance harpoon rifle exactly where it is. Give it a little smooch, and I stand up, and I remove my coat. And underneath, I'm wearing just a skin-tight eel skin wetsuit that leaves little to the imagination. And I pull out a large Bowie knife, a hunting knife, and I turn around to face this Ilnashi.
Your eeling knife that you use to skin all the eels for your wetsuit. Okay. In which case, sort of like this, Ilnashi pulls himself out the window onto the slanted roof that the two of you are on. As you produce your knife, the Ilnashi kind of reaches behind and from his belt draws like a blade that curves almost 90 degrees away from his palm, affixed to what almost looks like a set of jeweled knuckle dusters, and like he drops into a very low position and sort of like prepares for you. Are you striking first? Like, how are you engaging? How are you starting this knife fight?
Have you ever wrestled with an eel? They're slippery bastards, and even if you can get hold of them, they'll cut you up.
The Ilnashi man sort of like doesn't expect the eel as the fearsome animal of choice, but he's never met Roth. What are you rolling out?
I'm going to have a bit of a skirmish with this.
Have a little bit of a skirmish, okay.
Gentle skirmish.
So the two of you are on I'm expecting, because this is Wire Park, you're probably about 30 feet up on this rooftop. So I'm going to start you on a desperate standard, because the two of you are part of a tier 3 crew. He is part of a tier 3 crew. You are somewhat evenly matched. Your knife is arguably bigger, though.
My eyes are up here. So you said desperate standard to start?
Desperate standard to start, yes, absolutely.
Cool. I'm gonna push myself, get some more dice, or maybe
get some sweet dice. Go on.
Yeah.
Regardless of what happens, you lose your footing, and you fall to a lower level, but not necessarily. You fall onto a lower balcony, not necessarily the floor. But you slip from your vantage point.
Okay. And I'm gonna go great.
Oh,
okay.
The gun.
no!
Ooh.
And is it too stressed to push yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
Look at JC not knowing how much stress it costs to push themselves. Thanks, Algernon. What's that I can push for free?
Oh man, should I have been taking stress when I was pushing before?
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, a little bit. Two per push.
No.
Oh yeah, your stress is much higher now.
Tom's just standing in the crowd and he's like, oh no.
I just realised.
Post-traumatic stress.
Yes.
I'm going to keep it at desperate standard and go for another dice with the devil's bargain. So that's +2.
Okay.
Giving me
So
a
4 dice skirmish.
Mhm.
Okay.
5.
Okay, you do it, but there's a consequence. So, describe to me how this all goes down as you do it.
So Roth waits for the Ilnashi to move first, put his weight on either foot as he goes for the attack, and then he slips in underneath his legs, sliding along the floor, and sort of stabbing upwards with his machete. And as the Ilnashi tries to grab him and wrestle him, he's slipping away from his grasp, and using the blade to cut away at his hands, and kicks him in the back of the knee, and they both tumble down onto the roof, past the sniper rifle, which is still set up aiming at Lady Null, and then he tumbles down onto like a first floor balcony, dragging the Ilnashi down with him.
Okay. And in which case, as you sort of like land on this balcony, and the Ilnashi, like the much larger Majani man, kind of falls after you, like from above you, you're able to roll out the way, and the Majani, the side of the Majani's head smacks into the stone balcony like barrier, and like he goes limp as he then plummets the rest of the way down to street level. But as you land on the balcony, you feel like the weight of the Majani kind of landing sort of on top of you as you kind of roll him off is still enough that you feel a worrying snap from your right leg. I will inflict severe harm, level 3, broken leg. Would you like to resist?
Yes, please.
Okay. Sure. So please roll me a prowess. Resist.
Oh.
Okay. So three stress. So we'll reduce that to level 2 harm instead, which is something less gratuitous
sprain
than
rather than a break, maybe.
I think sprain's more
Fracture,
level 1, maybe a fractured leg. Yeah. So you can still put weight on it. It's not flopping as you use it.
It's going to climb up with a fractured leg.
Well, so you can. It just hurts like hell when you put weight on it, but you can put weight on it. It's 70% structurally sound.
That's what you want in a leg.
Yes, you hear the staccato thud as this Ilnashi splays out on the stone pavement below, and you hear like a couple of gasps as people look up, and you are able to roll yourself back onto the balcony proper. But yeah, you can feel that your legs. There's an intense pain that is kind of radiating out from the point where it struck the edge of the balcony. But you look up, and it's a bit of a climb to get back to your sniper rifle. We'll flick over to Tavarian. Tavarian, you've noticed that your feet have come a few feet off the cart, and you're floating slightly, and it feels like someone is wrestling you for control of your bodily autonomy. What do you do? Because as you float up, you feel your head turn towards the crowd, and you can see the sort of like the small blips of light that people that you know are people kind of gathered around, and you hear a static coming from your amplifier that Atta installed on you, and in a voice mimicking yours but isn't, you hear, "People of Elysia, think of me! Think of Tavarien! I will save you! Think of me!"
No.
and you recognise Lady Null imitating your voice, booming out through the speaker.
Can I do a survey and see if I can try and spot her? Because obviously I don't know where she is.
You absolutely can. Yes.
Okay. I'm wondering if I can use my sensor.
You know what? With the sensor, I will start you on, because everyone's still desperate, but I'll start you on Desperate Great.
Okay.
Thanks to... because the sensor will give you a bump up, basically.
Okay. I will do a survey then. For a Desperate Great.
Okay.
I am also going to push myself for an extra dice.
Okay. So you're up to 4 drain. A 5. Okay, so you do it, but there's a consequence. As your voice says this, you're able to sort of like strain your helmet to look like you have to bend at the back, because obviously the helmet being a large metal helmet, you've got no real kind of vertical rotation. But as you twist and turn to look, you can see that in the keep, that's, you know, you're in the shadow of the keep, but about 5 stories up, you can spot the outline, the glowing outline of someone, and she's glowing brilliantly brightly. So you, from what you've gathered from conversations with Atta, you assume that she's using some sort of powerful arcane magics right now. But you can see someone sort of like leaning out, and like you can see Lady Null kind of moving her hands around as she's manipulating your motor functions and sort of like controlling your arcane amplification, like voice amplifier. Yeah, she's effectively leering over you 5 stories up, leaning out the side of the keep.
Okay. Would it be too far for me to do my Iron Man beam at her?
Nah!
I don't think it is.
Yeah. So, how would this work? Because it says take 1 drain for each level of magnitude.
So, yeah, magnitude is basically like how big is the laser beam? To go from sort of like 1 to 6 in terms of magnitude, we're talking like the example it gives here is small room, large room, several rooms, small building, large building, city block up at magnitude 6. But I guess we could imagine that as like 1 target, multiple clumped targets, spread targets. Like it's effectively, yes, it's the area of effect. So if you're just like, but I would then say because she's so far up, you probably need some more oomph to get the beam up. So let's say it's at least magnitude 2 to reach her, if you're trying to pinpoint her specifically.
Let's do that then.
Okay, so I would argue, oddly, well, you know what, I'd normally say hunt for something like this because it's like a shooty attack, but given the nature of everything, I'm going to say attune. Okay. I'm going to start you, though, on a desperate, limited, because you're fighting against her control. Devil's Bargain. You, regardless of what happens, you have to divert power from one of your other features.
Okay, I can do that. I'll do that.
Okay.
I'll use that to get me up to a desperate standard.
Okay.
And I'm going to push myself again to get an extra dice.
Okay. So this is 2 dice, desperate great. Laser beam attune roll. Beam attune roll.
Yay!
So both,
Good one.
well, the 3 of you are in the crowd, like you've turned to look, and like Tavarian, because Tavarian's just started shouting, "Think of me! Think of me!" And the voice is sounding garbled as the further it gets away, until it sounds quite monstrous by the time it reaches the ground. Think of me! But then you watch as sort of like Tavarian then quite horrifyingly bends backwards at the waist in order to be able to look up, and then you see her like right arm come up, and there's a glow from the palm, and you watch as this beam of bluish white like energy erupts from her palm up the side of the keep, and as you follow it, like in the blink of an eye that it takes to travel up, you see this figure just hurled backwards into the ruins of the keep as the beam kind of continues arcing up and pierces straight through one of the charred vines, and you can see it sort of like burn a hole all the way through until it reaches the veil and dissipates against the inside of the veil. And as that happens, Tavarian, you are dropped, and the cart kind of clap, the wheels give out, like burst out as you land on it.
Take that, you wrinkled old bitch.
You, like, as you feel that vocal box is fizzing and sparking, it doesn't appear to be working anymore. But yes, Tavarian, you are now free of whoever it was that was controlling you.
Yay.
The three of you in the crowd, off the back of Tavarian's shouts, like, you can see that some of the motes of light, like, there are some spirits that are floating where the stage was. They're floating like above and away, but you watch as these other motes of light all start beginning, that some of them start transforming into what looks like this old keeper woman, and you realize that multiples of Tavarian's image are being manifested as people think of Tavarian, somewhat perhaps influenced by the smoke, the two chemicals kind of clashing, the trance powder and Lorenzo, your paralysis poison. But you also note that some of these spirits, as they start to materialize, then begin to sort of like drift away from the crowd, and they begin to drift upwards. Despite the fact, especially the ones that are over the stage, because they're furthest away from the crowds, you can see them sort of like trying to fly back towards the living folk, and they're sort of like grabbing and scrabbling at the air, but it's almost as if they're being pulled by a rope tied around their waists, and they seem to be getting drawn up towards the keep. You also noticed like a number of the motes of ghostly energy are beginning to get pulled away. Between the three of you in the group, what's Lorenzo doing?
So, just to re-establish the scene,
yes,
stage has collapsed. That it was like the ghostly repellent kind of bomb or something like that,
yep.
right? Okay, Tavarian needs some help fixing her vocal system.
Yeah,
and Daisy is cute.
Very cute.
And so the person that was on the stage, have they, gone? Like the person that was commanding the stage? Because there's no longer a stage.
The soothsayer that was once kind of addressing the crowd, she's been sort of like face down in the dirt for a moment, but she's since sort of like stood back up, and she's looking around, and like you see this Majani woman's looking up and seeing all these spirits sort of like floating away, but you notice she doesn't look upset about it.
Right. Out the way, doctor. I'm not doing the Italian accent. Out of the way, doctor, coming through. And Lorenzo, I'm the healer. I can't not do this with my fingers. And maybe Lorenzo's going to push himself towards the soothsayer, and kind of just as he's about to go, turns towards Fiends and can you help her fix Tavarian's systems? Maybe she can command the crowd a little more. Maybe play around with the electronics. I don't
try.
know. Fix instead of
I'm
break.
used to breaking things. I'm used to breking things. I'll give you that. Yeah.
Just
I'll
do
give it
the
a go though.
opposite of what you would do, maybe.
Ooh, blimey, that sounds complicated. No, leave it with me.
Go backwards. And Lorenzo's going to go up to the soothsayer and kind of show Doctor ID.
Yeah.
And don't worry, I'll get you right again, and kind of go into his bandolier, pull out needle, horrible. It's going to be a syringe of the paralysis stuff, and kind of just straight inject soothsayer lady.
Okay.
It's gonna help you. It's gonna help you. Don't worry.
Oh, blimey. Okay, right. So let's call that. What ability are you using for this?
I'm going to argue that it's a finesse because it's
Yes.
like a fine-tooled, like using a needle, putting it precisely in the place where a needle should go. Being a doctor is somewhat finessey.
Yeah. Just look here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a squeaky toy. Like with a child when you give them an
Look into
injection.
my eyes, not around my eyes, into my eyes. Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. I will start you on a desperate standard.
Okay. Desperate standard.
Because more and more ghosts are manifesting above your heads, but then, like, as the crowd are screaming, they're then being sort of like, but you see Tavarian ghosts, you see like random civilian ghosts just materializing, kind of drifting upwards.
I'll push myself for another a great. What would a greater effect be?
It might be how quickly she gets knocked out, or how long she's knocked out for, or.
Let's push and have an extra dice. Why not? Just get. It's that kind of night.
Treat yourself.
Yeah.
Treat yourself. Get us
Yay!
Okay, in which case, like. This thin Majani lady like looks up to you. Who are you? She says. As you're like, I'm a doctor. And as you loom over her, you sort of you're commanding her attention with your left hand and your eyes, and then you just step in and jab this syringe into her neck arteries, and as you. But maybe just straight into her chest, perfectly between the ribs, into the heart, and you inject her with paralysis poison.
I would like it to be a little subtler, maybe.
Subtler, okay.
So it could be easily, it's not a big show of it. It's kind of I'm checking over her and I'm going to give her the old.
In which case, you know what? Off the back of a desperate success, perhaps it might even be your tail that's got the syringe, and you just get her in the leg.
Ooh,
nice, yeah.
Okay, so you manipulate your tail and you inject her, and she flinches at the sudden sharp scratch, and she looks at you and, what was that? What have you? And then she just stops, and her mouth sags a little bit, her eyes go a bit droopy, and then she just tips backwards and boom, falls down, and as she lands, she rocks like a plank of wood that's just been dropped on a stone floor, and her legs are still a little bit bent, and she's just completely frozen in the shape that she was in.
Whoops!
Standing up.
Look what happens when you think about the memories of people. You fall down. She has to be taken away. It's terrible. You should stop thinking so much. All of you.
So Lorenzo, are you drawing attention to this, or are you just being like, oh no, what a shame, and then leaving the scene of the crime?
And come and help your overthinking diseased person. She didn't overthink, and it made her pass out.
So yes, there are some of the other Neonations kind of rush over, and they're sort of slapping her on the face. Sister, they're saying is one of them says he's kind of trying to shake her out of this just absolute frozen catatonic state. But yeah, they don't seem to be paying you much attention, as they're just terribly worried about what's happened to this poor Elysia lady. Just as some context, just in the crowd, Roth, you can hear "What's happening?" from Alejandro, who's still got the gossiper's earring on, and Alejandro. The rest of you on ground level, you can see Alejandro in the crowd, and he and his crew are just sort of looking around frantic. But Roth, you hear in your head, "No, it's fine. They're still being siphoned, he shouts. And Roth, you see Alejandro's hand emerge from the crowd and is pointing up at the ghost spirits, the memory spirits. Capable Tom.
Hello.
everything's going marvelously. What are you doing?
No.
I'm gonna
Stab someone.
I've been wanting to for ages, but there's just no good stabbing. I'll just turn to Fiends and be like, so, looks like there was some trouble off at the keep, eh? Seems like that's where the ghosts are going as well. We should check it out. I could maybe use some little bit of force. Yeah, and having seen Tavarian take a shot at someone, I want to make sure that it's confirmed. So, I'm gonna, whoever I can see, I'm gonna kind of just point at, and then I'm gonna start running towards the keep.
Okay.
With the intention to scramble up some of those vines to where the shot hit.
Who else is heading to the keep, and we can smash cut?
I'll head over.
Ryan's heading over.
Okay.
Is Fiends heading over?
Well, I feel like I can't just abandon Lorenzo.
Is Lorenzo heading over?
Lorenzo probably will head over if he no longer sees any of the crew, but is trying to like convince everybody that as they're getting the overthinking disease.
Sure, yeah, okay.
I just want to kind of be clear, like, what is currently happening amidst the crowd? Are there more spirits showing up? Are the Ilnashi doing anything in particular?
So there are still there are like somewhat more infrequent manifestations of these ghosts. A number of them look like Tavarian, a number of them look like people you've never seen before, but you suspect that they're still kind of lost relatives, off the back of the initial command of, think of your lost ones. But yeah, it looks somewhat more patchy, but the ones that are appearing, because of your anathemic field over the area, a lot of them are sort of like materializing, then trying to go for the crowd and then kind of being repelled, and then seemingly getting then kind of sucked up into the air towards the keep.
Okay, so does Lady Null appear to be the biggest threat at the moment?
Well, you look and you're not sure, like presumably Fiends and Lorenzo aren't 100% who the instigator of this whole thing is, but you do see that there's a big old red hot scorch mark up the side of the keep, piercing through one of the vines, and it looks like Tavarian and Tom are heading that way.
Okay. What do you think, Lorenzo? Where are we needed most, you reckon? I could stay here and just
need to get
start
away
bombing.
from all this thinking.
Yeah?
Kind of.
All right.
I mean, if you wanted, well, the thing is, there are people still conjuring these spirits.
Yeah.
So if Lorenzo, if you're thinking that you want to sort of like cure everyone of overthinking disease,
you could start putting a few people to sleep. Something.
Yeah, maybe as many as I am able to, kind of like, I'm trying to keep the Ilnashi busy by like treating people with their overthinking disease.
Yeah.
Treating.
Is there anything we could do to, like, how our bandoliers have like little bottles and things attached to it with various substances in it? Could we combine some of your substances with Fiends' wrecking skills to essentially explode some of these bottles above the crowd and disseminate sleep juice or something over some of them?
It's not sleep juice. It's
airburst paralysis powder.
Can there be anti-thinking powder?
We could try. But you might get paralysized, which is the right word to use, whereas Lorenzo won't, because Lorenzo's the immune.
He's completely immune. I'll try not to get it on me. I'll try and be on the periphery.
We can flashback to Lorenzo and Fiends doing a little lab.
Making some little paralysis powder bombs.
Making some chemical warfare. Never know when you might need it.
Okay, well, tell you what then. Who, the two of you, who was leading that flashback? Because to me, it does sound like the two of you would need to be kind of like working together on ground floor in order to kind of tidy that
whole,
the actual summoning bit.
Can we share the flashback once
you can share the flashback. You can absolutely share the flashback. But yes, okay. So how are you knocking heads together? Like, who was doing the alchemy for all intents and purposes?
Oh, well, because Lorenzo's got to make the paralysis powder, and Fiends has got to tinker it into a set of grenades, hasn't she? Not grenades, but like things that will go pa above the crowd.
I think that the important bit really is converting the paralysis, the standstill powder into an air burst.
Does
I'll give
that
you a
powder-
help.
Does it stop them thinking though? Surely it won't stop. That's what we want though. We want them to stop thinking and conjuring ghosts.
You could use gunpowder.
No!
That stops people thinking.
Yeah.
It's not. That's plan
Do
B.
any of us know what happens when you're paralyzed? I'm not sure.
You don't stop
can't you
thinking.
just put them to sleep?
Can't move.
Aren't you
Could we
quick?
please put them to sleep,
Yeah.
Errol?
That
is within Lorenzo's
You're not
power.
interested
Surely
in paralysis.
he's got sleep. Where did this come from? This absolute obsession.
Look, there's dream essence is something, but that's a special formula.
Listen.
There's not.
Listen,
I don't think there's
Lorenzo
actually a sleep
Lorenzo's an alchemical genius. If anyone can figure out sleep juice, it's Lorenzo.
If we're doing a combiney,
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to say that Lorenzo will need to roll to create dream powder, whatever it's called.
Sleepy time tea.
Sleepy time tea, yes. And
I can
Fiends has to roll to see how well she then weaponizes it.
Is that Tinker or Wreck? Because either of them.
It's your call.
I'll tinker them into existence.
Yeah, I think the difference between Tinker and Wreck in this instance is whether it's in a specifically crafted container or if it's in a glass jar, like with a bit of rope sticking out of it. Wreck would be the glass jar.
Oh,
that's
right.
Still got a jam label on it.
Nah, we'll do Tinker.
Okay. So between the two, this I'll set this as a risky standard because shit hadn't hit the fan at this point. So yeah, between the two of you, risky standard. Feel free to push and so on and so forth.
I'm pushing.
You haven't really got a lot of opportunities to push, although
No, you
maybe
do not.
no.
You got
Okay.
got 3 stress left.
I know, yeah, but what if Lorenzo needs to use it? But okay, let's just roll. Risky
Roll
standard.
sleepy time tea.
Risky standard.
Tinker.
Yeah, you can switch to Desperate Great if you like for free.
Oh right.
You did it. Very good, very good.
Okay.
And let's.
Enough. I'm a genius. Enough has been created.
Yeah.
Fiends, what did you do with it?
Let's see. 6. Look at
The
that.
meeting of minds.
Look at that. It's Fiends' redemption arc. I'm telling you.
Okay, so between the two, like Fiends, there's this, as you presumably it's a sense of like, oh, is it time? Is it time? As
Time
you
for sleepy bye-byes?
as you produce the sleepy go bye-bye bombs, and
Start flinging them over the crowd so they burst over the crowd. Douse them in droplets in a miasma of sleepy juice.
Well, so you've successfully created them, but I will at this point now ask for the rec roll to see if you manage to successfully distribute them properly.
Can I have a
can
devil's
help you.
bargain? Oh yeah, if you could help, that would be amazing.
Because that's one stress, right? I'm
Okay.
happy
Yeah,
to
One
yeah,
take
stress to help, perfect. And so I
Okay.
think, what is it? What is the roll?
So we're going to start you on a desperate standard again.
Right.
With
Okay.
Devil's Bargain. Regardless of what happens, the Ornashi take affirmative action against the two of you.
It just gives me more excuse to throw bombs, doesn't it? So that's fine. So I've got help and I've got a devil's bargain.
Yep.
I'm going to use one of them for an extra die, and I'm going to use one of them to change back to risky. Rather
no,
than
you
desperate.
can go up to greater. Can't change the position.
Oh, you can't change your position. Okay.
You can make it like worse. So
Okay.
but more, you can make it more desperate, I should say, not worse. Yeah, you can
can't
move
change
to
your
desperate
position.
greater.
Desperate great. +1. Okay, let's go. That's a 5.
Whoa, that was a lot of 1s and 2s.
Whoops.
Okay. So, between the two of you, so you're both going to get caught up in this. So you do it. So, Fiends and Lorenzo, as you begin hucking these Sleepy Go Bye-Bye bombs over the crowd, and they start detonating, and you've made sure that the casing burns away in the explosion rather than, fragmentates into the crowd. They're paper bombs. And you watch as this sort of like dust billows out. You watch as one by one, and then with greater frequency, members of the crowd start just looking a bit boss-eyed for a moment, and then just slumping to the ground. And in the matter of like less than sort of like 10 seconds, a good half of the crowd has just slumped to the floor, and sort of like they're just piled over each other in really kind of awkward positions, and like some of the others have like run away from the crowd and then just started to get a bit floppy and then like flopped to the ground a little bit away.
Stop thinking! Go to sleep!
As a serious complication, as the two of you watch, like, Fiends, perhaps you did a bit too well. And the projection of these explosives is greater than you had anticipated.
No!
As the two of you, because Lorenzo helped, and that means that you're both suffering. You feel a bit drowsy. Do you want to resist?
Yes, I want to run away. And drag Lorenzo with me, all 7 foot of him.
Well, so you get to resist independently. Which of you want to resist?
I'll resist.
Okay, well, this will be a prowess roll. So it is a 4 dice resist, but you've only got 3 stress left.
That's fine. It's fine.
Is Lorenzo resisting, or is he going Sleepy Go Bye-Bye?
I can always drag him away if necessary. Give him
he's going to try and resist, but he hasn't got a lot of stress.
No,
to
you've
play
not got
with,
the stress for it, my love. Don't do it, please.
No. Okay, so
how do I roll a resist again? Is it just a straight prowess?
Just click on the word. Yeah, click on the word prowess. It'll be 4
just
dice.
Roll it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, what was it?
1 stress. We rolled
a
5.
Nice.
Well,
Nice.
Okay, so as this dream dust sort of like billows over you as you're shouting, "Stop thinking!" and you like huff in a big mouthful of it, and you think, "Oh no!" You manage to presumably you've already got you've got Lorenzo to get the antidote, but Lorenzo, by the time you look over to him, is already thwomp.
Can I get the antidote off Lorenzo? If I drag him away and I look for the antidote on his person, it will waste a bit of time, but yeah.
Yes, so you're a little bit drowsy, but otherwise you manage to, because I think he's quite big, he's a 7.5 foot tall boy, you manage to drag Lorenzo out of the sleeping crowd, and before long, pretty much everyone has kind of fallen asleep, and the flow of, or the conjuration of the spirits has now stopped. We will smash over to Roth. Roth, what are you doing now, like, given everything you've seen? Have you been kind of clambering back up to your vantage point?
I want to try and make it back up to my sniper position.
Okay.
Attempting to climb at first.
Yeah, well, so luckily there's been enough time, enough attention has been kind of pulled away from you that you are able to just sort of like pull yourself up with just 3 of your limbs.
I've got my sticky eel gloves on.
Sticky eel gloves coming in clutch. And sort of like as you painfully pull yourself back onto the spot where your sniper harpoon rifle is, as you look back down it through the scope, you can see that these conjured spirits that have been manifested in Union Park a number of them are being drawn to what looks like the same level that Lady Null was on. You've noticed that she's disappeared. There appears to be a big scorch mark up the side of the keep wall for some reason. But they seem to almost be getting drawn up to that level through the wall and then down into something where they're then disappearing. So it looks like they're being siphoned into something on that floor.
Okay, I want to scramble around for my kit bag where I've pulled the rifle from. And in there, I have some special harpoons.
Okay.
Are
they zip-lock harpoons?
Electroplasmic ammunition.
Okay.
Which is from my loadout. They are especially potent against spirits.
Okay.
Ooh.
Ghost gun.
So these harpoons in particular, the harpoon tips are hollowed, and insert in the hollow of each of these tips is a crafted arcane mana gem, which is quite anathemic to ghosts. Very, very good. Okay.
And I'm just going to fire one at the spot at which all these spirits are being drawn to.
Sure.
And see if I can get rid of any of them.
Okay. That sounds like another hunt then.
Hunt.
Once again, I'll start you on Desperate Standard. Your leg's not going to impact this in any way.
So I can expend my special armor to push myself for ranged combat.
Ooh. Okay.
So I'm going to use that to add another dice for 4 dice hunting.
Okay. Take in a deep breath, and with a pull of the trigger, the harpoon flies across. It whistles as it spins towards its target. And so, were you aiming for the spot that they were kind of disappearing?
Yeah. So if there's a spot where they're all sort of getting sucked in concentration, so I can maybe spear as many as possible and try and stop them from being sucked in, being sucked off.
In which case, as you focus for a moment and then you sort of like take a deep breath, and then as you exhale, you see that there's a metallic glimmer, like a golden glimmer, floating above the floor of the keep where Lady Null was. You suspect that whatever this metallic ring it looks like that must be what's causing all this. So that is your target. But as the harpoon flies across, it arcs up. The wind lifts the tip up enough that it skirts over the ring. It still manages to sort of like skewer and banish a good number of the conjured spirits that are about to get siphoned into it. So you've certainly put a pause on them being kind of drawn in. Well, you've stopped those ones in particular being drawn in. But it looks like the harpoon is just sort of like skirted over the edge of this metallic object that Lady Null appears to be operating. That is your reduced effect. If you would like to resist, then your mark is ever so slightly truer, and you do in fact do damage to this mechanism.
Okay, I'm going to resist.
Okay, so off the back of a hunt, this is an insight resist.
Okay, and I can't use my special armor twice, so I can't add any.
Okay, correct. So this is a 3 dice resist.
6.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. You should let out that breath, and you feel your heart slow for a moment as you pull the trigger, and it looks like the harpoon is about to peel off, but it doesn't, and it does in fact strike this ring, and you see this this golden ring ricochet away as the harpoon kind of bounces off it. The harpoon bouncing off then skewers through a number of ghosts. So the mechanism isn't destroyed, but it has been knocked out of the way, and its kind of alignment is completely thrown out. So you have stopped the supply of spirits into it. And you take another slow breath to regain your composure as you check your shot. Anything else? Okay.
I'm gonna scan to see where my friends are.
Okay. You look down and you can see everyone. Well, I guess it's a bit difficult to tell whether everyone in the park is asleep or dead, but you see fiends dragging Lorenzo, who again is either asleep or dead, dragging him away
fine.
from the crowd. Yes, we smash over to Tavarian and Tom of the capable variety. The two of you sort of like managed to... The ruins, the keep was once this grand and glorious building, but after the raising, after it was raised during the Kindling's attack not too long ago, now that the structure is speared by these large, huge vines, it's surprisingly easy to scale its height, ducking between the broken bits of masonry, using the vines as almost like a handhold to pull yourself up. And the two of you managed to reach the 5th floor, Tavarian, where someone was controlling you. As the two of you arrive, you can see that there are 3 Majani on this space, and it's only a bit of wall that's still connected, a bit of floor that's still connected to the wall, and that's kind of propped up by these vines. So it's quite a precarious position. To lose your footing would send you plummeting down into the ruins of the keep, like a number of floors down. But as you arrive, you can see that over in the corner there's this very elderly looking Majani woman, and there is she had this full head kind of covering that only showed her face. That veil has just been kind of burnt away, along with a lot of the surface level skin off the side of her left cheek and up. She's her hands are thrashing under the pain. One of the Majani is trying to tend to her, but the third turns and sees the two of you arrive. And he shouts something in a native tongue. But what do you do?
So, as we kind of reached the bit where we'll be able to see in here, I'd like to have swigged my potion of silence.
Okay.
Which will silence everything within 10 feet or meters, one of the two.
Nice.
Some sort of distance.
Yeah, a short distance.
A short distance, that's the important thing.
As an aside, did you also want Tavarian to be sneaking up silently with you?
If possible, yes, and in that case I would like to give Tavarian my fine shadow cloak, if I am able to do so, to take the edge off a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, this sounds like you might be leading a group action, capable Tom.
Yeah, I'd like to try and lead a prowl up there if I could.
Okay. So between the two of you, if you both roll me a desperate standard prowl, we'll call it desperate standard for Tavarian because she's got this cloak that's covering some of her. And then we'll take the highest result from the two of you, and Tom, you will take stress for any fails.
I will warn you.
Brilliant.
I have no prowl.
You don't need it, baby. I got this.
You got this.
So
maybe.
Roll away. I wouldn't advise it for Tavarian, but capable Tom, you can push yourself for 2 stress to get an extra dice or an extra effect to take up to desperate greater.
It's already desperate, isn't it? No, I'll save the stress. It might come in handy. Cool.
So the extra dice.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a 5 and a 3. So we'll go with the 5. So, Capable Tom, you suffer 1 stress as you shush Tavarien and do your very best to get her up unnoticed, which is you managed to do very impressively.
How can you possibly be this loud?
Have you seen me?
Okay, so you suffer severe harm, a serious complication occurs, you have reduced effect. So, Tom, I will say that, the serious complication is that the Majani, like the Oneshi that's seen you, shouts something in his native tongue and then draws what looks to be a wickedly sharp and slender blade.
Whoa.
A sword, and then strikes a pose, and then with a deft hand movement, the blade splits along its length and pivots on the handle and locks in to a double-ended blade. And as a cobble, you suspect that this Majani, this Ilneshi, is one of their assassins.
Well, no.
Sweet. That's something that I'll note out of the corner of my eye as I train my pistol on Lady Noel and pull the trigger.
Okay.
Can't let them survive again. Not this time, Tom.
Which ability are you using for this?
I guess that'd probably be Hunt, I assume.
Okay.
To shoot someone in the face.
Now we're talking. Come on.
You carefully track a target, but it does then go on to say, you might. I think because if it's close range with a pistol, Hunt is more a precision shooting from a distance.
Okay, I'm happy to. You know what, Dan? It makes almost no difference regardless of what I do. Because I'm pretty capable.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to wreck her because it makes me feel better.
Wrecking makes him feel good.
Roll a. Because it's a pistol, we'll start on desperate great. Why not? We're going in big. A desperate great. Tavarien, you're up here. Would you like to help?
I guess I can. I can help. I can give you an extra dice.
Okay.
Great, yeah. Help me shoot this old woman with a gun. Thank you.
So Tavarien is up to 9 of 10 drain. So that will be an extra dice for you, Capable Tom.
Great.
Are you daredeviling this?
Yeah, it's already desperate, so that'll be +2.
So this is a 3 dice, desperate great wreck, as Capable Tom produces a pistol and...
Look at that! It's a crit!
In the dome.
Ice cold as this assassin bears down on him. He just stirs him down and shoots Lady Null anyway.
This assassin sort of does the flourish Indiana Jones style, and Tom, bang! And you, as you fire the shot, so it's like you feel that everything goes into slow motion, Capable Tom, as you feel the arcane runes inside the firearm kind of ignite as they send that kind of pulse along the barrel into the mana crystal in the body of the gun, as it reacts and fires this blast of high density kind of magic out of the barrel of the pistol. You watch as this arc of light blasts through the back of the hand of the Oneshi tending to Lady Null, out from her palm, and then luckily the hand is positioned in such a way that as the bolt strikes Lady Null right between the eyes, the hand kind of covers up most of the absolute devastation that occurs as a result of your accurate shot. But all of that for Tavarien, in the flick of a flash, in a moment, you see a flash of light, and then Lady Null's head boom, hit the wall behind her, and then she just slumps. A hole where her eyes and nose used to be.
Beautifully done.
Very good.
And then, Tavarien, you watch as this assassin then lunges at Capable Tom and is about to skewer him, like cut him down with this double-bladed sword. You can also see that there's this gold kind of mechanism that's got a big dent in the side of it. There's a number of sort of like arcane sigils and mana crystals encrusted on it. And the ghosts that are pouring in sort of like over your head seem to be kind of coalescing around it, but like they're being drawn to it, but it doesn't seem to be absorbing them like it was. So you see that kind of floating about, but yeah, what do you do in this moment as this assassin is all like in midair about to strike Capable Tom?
She's gonna throw the cloak off, and she's gonna go and give the Majani a good old smacking.
This sounds like a skirmish.
Yeah, I can't push myself anymore.
No. Does Capable Tom want to help Tavarien in return?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay, so that's one stress for Capable Tom. I'm going to start you on a desperate standard skirmish.
I'm going to do one extra dice.
Okay.
For a desperate standard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Success.
Proper twat him.
And as this assassin is mid-air hurling towards Capable Tom, Tom turns and sort of like well, presumably moves out of the way, kind of disguising you somewhat. And Tavarien, describe to me what happens as you catch this assassin mid-air with your right fist.
You know how, like, in some animes where they get hit, it's like a slow motion? It's like a slow motion just goes through the cheek, like that, and then they just super speed go. It's like that.
Okay, but the added bonus is because of the sheer state of the Ruby Keep. As your fist connects and this Ilnashi is flung away from you, he's flung into nothingness, and there's a as you watch him ragdoll down 5 stories into the ruins of the keep, and there's just a plume of smoke. Some 40 feet away when he finally lands, and like you see bits of timber and masonry just kind of collapse in on him, burying him in a moment. Cool, very good. Between the two of you, so you can see a lot of these ghosts loitering. This golden ring seems to be the focus, like the arcane focus of whatever Lady Null was doing. What's your plan here?
How many ghosts would you say are around?
Over your head, there's about a dozen or so. But you suspect you get this impression that this device is absorbing them, and actually, through your like your soul sight, Tavarien, you can see that this device is a transference artifact. It seems like it's absorbing it and then moving it elsewhere.
Don't let it absorb anymore.
Can I do a flashback where I've also spoken to Atta again?
Yeah.
Where...
What's up, Tavarien?
Oh, you're back. I want to ask for... So we've got the ghost orbs where we've used that to suck out ghosts.
Yeah, gorbs.
I want a good hefty gorb to get like a good amount of ghosts in it. At least maybe let's say a dozen.
Well, there was that time we accidentally caught a load of ghosts in the mushroom farm.
In the mausoleum.
So I have a good idea of like what the parameters are for multiple ghost containment is. Yeah, that's all.
Okay.
And from my loadout, I would like to pull out a nice good gorbing.
I'm imagining, because given what you are, there's just a compartment that you open on your torso, and you reach in and produce like an internal backpack. like a kangaroo mother's pouch. You produce this ghost orb, and off the back of, shall we just say, off the back of Atta's suggestion, you place the orb in the center of this ring so it interacts with the runes inside. And are you just looking to absorb what's left into the ghost orb rather than the ring?
Yes.
Okay. So in which case, Roth, you can see this through your scope as Tavarian begins manipulating this artifact. Capable Tom, you stand and watch as Tavarian connects these two things together, and as she pulls the ring back to where it used to be, the ghosts, the runes reignite and the ghosts are drawn in, but instead of flowing into the runes of capture on the ring, they instead get absorbed by the ghost orb, and with a and you can see that the mistiness within the orb is getting denser and denser as these faces press against it. And Tavarian, it's quite shocking because a good number of them are your old face, pressed against the glass of the orb, kind of screaming and panicking as they thrash about and get squished and squeezed as more and more plump in. And soon enough, between the two of you, Fiends and Lorenzo, you start to come to. You can see that the last of the summoned spirits have made it to the keep, and Tom, Roth, and Tavarian, you watch as they are fully captured by the ghost orb provided to you by Atta, the high capacity ghost orb provided to you by Atta. And I think as the last of the spirits is absorbed into the ghost orb, which is now glowing with this bright intensity that you've never seen one of these glow with before, you take a glance around. The situation is somewhat quiet, apart from the sobbing of the Oneshi woman that's had a hole blown through her right hand. And Fiends and Lorenzo, as you look around, you can see a number of the civilians starting to come to as well, as they look around. What's happening? And they begin to pick themselves up and begin scattering off in various directions after this calamitous series of events. But the five of you realise that you've stopped the Oneshi from generating more power for Nephene.
Yay!
Yeah.
We did it.
And Roth, you are still connected to you're still connected via the Gossiper's earrings to Alejandro.
Can I see him anywhere through my scope?
You are your attention's drawn to him as you hear like a heavy panicked panting, and you scan and notice that he and his two companions are currently booking it through the west entrance of Spire Park into Dustry Hill. And it's the sound of him, quick, go, this way, quick! Yes, he seems to be scarpering to the winds.
Don't forget you owe me 5 coin, you sexy bastard.
You hear a loud sort of like crack, and you presume that Alejandro's taken the Gossiper's earring and thrown it to the ground. But yeah, as you watch, you can't help but smirk as you watch the three of them like clear over the bridge into Dustry Hill. Even as Lorenzo and Fiends make their way away from Union Park, you see a number of other civilians kind of coming out to help those who were in the seance. But you have successfully completed the B team side mission.
Woo!
Nice.
Easy peasy. So with that said, we will see what the ramifications of this score have on the A-Team's mission down in the heart of Elysia, because as all of this was going down, Magpie, Atta, Algernon, Cavern, and Frida are delving into the depths of Elysia, the Elysian catacombs, to find, to confront Nephene and Turia, and we will see how stymieing this part of the plan affects them when they begin their score. But with all that said, thank you everyone for playing. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Oh, it's
Thank
been a
you.
pleasure. Lovely to meet you and play with you again, everybody.
He comes in.
Table.
He comes in. He lies to a few people. He shoots a faction leader in the face. He leaves.
It took us like about.
I'm a
I don't
capable
know
boy.
about-
You're capable, Tom, to get a job done. He comes in, he does it, he goes home. He's going to have a
Because we
bath tonight.
spent
It's going
10
to be great.
episodes to kill a head faction.
This is why Musto recommended him. You know, it's high praise.
Gets it done.
So, yes, I am looking forward to the next finale because the next episode, the finale, things are going to look a little different, aren't they? But I won't go into details. You'll just have to make sure to, first of all, like this video and comment down below on what you believe Capable Tom does in his. What is it actually? Capable Tom has the haunted trauma, and I would love in the comments for anyone to speculate on what it is that haunts Capable Tom.
You're not going to get it.
And yes, to see how things are going to look different and to tune in for the finale, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for notifications of when we release new videos, because they're coming out all the time. And I wouldn't want you to miss out, because if you've gotten this far, you may as well join us through to the end, eh? So, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you everyone for playing. Thank you once again, Tim. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Dan.
Bye.
Bye.